Hello YouTubers, this is a review and a comparison of a Glock G19, a very popular Glock 9mm, and a Springfield XDM9 in Compact. The reason why I wanted to do this comparison is in case some of you are out there, you know, looking, hey, should I get a Glock? Should I get a Springfield? I've heard good things about both. And I personally own both of these firearms and I've shot them both. And I think they have very nice attributes, both of them. And I really don't think you're picking you know, a loser in any case when you're looking at these firearms. As you can see, I have them both safety checked right at the moment. So if you look in here, you'll see that there is nothing in the chamber in this one, or perhaps recycling it. There's nothing in there. And the same thing goes with the XDM 9mm. I'm going to start with the Glock 9mm first because it's so popular. This particular one has the stainless steel inox slide on it. The Glock comes with two 15 capacity magazines. This, by the way, is a Generation 3 Glock, and it's a very straightforward firearm. And this right here is probably the most popular handgun in 9mm that's used in law enforcement. And basically it's because it's light and it's very reliable. So one of the things that I think is an advantage with the Glock is two or three really major things. First is the sight picture, and I don't know if you can see it, but here, I'll try to bring it closer. But Glock is interesting, and where I'm trying to get you as good of a picture as possible here, but it has that nice little square, as you can see right down the sight, like that. And I just love that for range shooting. I just find it easier to shoot at the range and that kind of thing. The other thing that's nice about this is the mag release is right here and is very, very easy to drop the magazine. Comes right out just like that. This assembly on the weapon, and this one in particular, because it does have the stainless steel slide, also does have a stainless steel barrel. If you're not familiar with Glocks, you have to bring back the slide just a little bit while pulling these little levers down on the side. If you just give me a moment here. It's a little tricky, even if you've done it a couple of times. And then the last thing you have to do is pull the trigger, and now the whole assembly comes out. And here you have the spring. This is not a compound spring. That's one of the biggest differences between the Generation 3 and the Generation 4. A lot of people say the Generation 3 is a lot more reliable. And here is the stainless steel barrel. If you want to look down the barrel there and on the side. And cleaning this is really a snap. As you can see, it really doesn't have a lot of parts. Here's the trigger assembly. Okay. And I'm going to just go ahead and put the spring back on. And just slide this back into place. And there it is. It's all together now. The other advantage with the Glock is the trigger. A lot of people love the trigger on the Glock. It's hard to see, but the safety is really this little lever that's in the middle of the trigger, and that's basically the whole safety. A lot of people argue as a carry gun, this is not as safe as some of the other guns that are out there because it doesn't have a manual safety or anything like that on the side. And if you go to pull this out of your holster and you know, you have your finger on the trigger, it's very easy to have an accidental discharge. Okay, and this is when you buy this from Glock, you get, again, 2 magazines, a case, and I think there was a lock in there. I don't totally remember, but that's what you get. This is fired totally flawlessly. It's probably had at least 500 or 600 rounds down the barrel already, and it's just a wonderful piece to own. So there's nothing wrong with owning a Glock 19, in my opinion. Now we're going to move on to the Springfield. Now, some of the noticeable things with the Springfield and why you might want to consider this over the Glock is mainly safety, and it's a little more compact. Oops, got to make sure that this is back and locked there. Just going to give you a side-by-side comparison. You can tell that the Springfield's just a little bit shorter. Okay, the thicknesses are about the same. Actually, the Glock is a little thinner. If you look at it this way, they're almost identical. Okay, now the advantages on the Springfield again are really more in the safety arena. First of all, it doesn't hold as many on the flush mount magazine. It holds 13. However, it comes with an extended mag that has 17 rounds. The safety features go like this. And, like the Glock, it also has the little safety that's in the middle of the trigger, but it also has this back strap safety, for lack of better words, where this has to be depressed, and so does the trigger in order for it to discharge. And that's nice because you have to really get a good grasp on the gun, you know, before it's going to fire. Another safety is right here on the top. If you can see, there's this little black, I'm kind of pushing on it a little bit, might be a little hard to see, but this raises and will tell you if there is a round in the chamber. Lastly, on the back, and I'm going to try to bring it up as close as I can, you'll see that there's that little metal dot showing there, and that means that the gun is cocked. And the Glock does not do that. It does not show you that on the back of the gun, which is kind of a nice another safety feature. Takedown of this weapon, in my opinion, is a lot easier. You simply cock the gun back. There's a little lever on the side here. You just go ahead and push it like that. You release the slide. The slide comes out. This does use a compound spring. You can see the difference. The other one had a spring that went the entire distance, and this has 2 types of springs. And that's basically because the barrel and the size of the gun is a little bit smaller. Here's the barrel of the gun. Again, very similar in design to the Glock. The Glock in this particular case was stainless steel. And this, I'm not sure, it looks like it's anodized or something like that. And I'm going to go ahead and put that back in. Again, very easy, both of them very easy to disassemble and reassemble. You just go ahead and put the lever back down on that, release the slide, and you're ready to go. I've had one failure, but you know, most guns need about at least a minimum of a 200 round you know, break-in period. That's what a lot of people say. And the failure that I had was that on one of the times I shot the gun, it didn't lock open on the last round fired, and that's the only failure that I've ever had, which is pretty minimal. Other than that, the gun has always fired the round, and they both have had about the same amount of rounds fired through them. You're going to be paying a little more for the Springfield. If you're thinking about carrying, this might be a better one for you to think about because of the added safety features. If that's not a concern, the Glock is a little bit cheaper. Of course, you do pay a premium in either gun, getting it in the NX or stainless steel slide. Usually about, I'd say, anywhere from $50 to $70 for that feature, and maybe sometimes as high as $100. To me, I just like the look of having the bitone. The Springfield is going to run you a little bit more money. However, again, both great firearms, and you really can't go wrong with either of them. If you asked my opinion, which one do I like better? Well, I'd say I like them equally as much. I like the ergonomics of the Springfield a little bit better. I like the serrated edges here on the back and on the front. Both of them, it's a little hard to see. It does have a little Picatinny rail here, just one little slot, so you can add a light or a laser if you'd like. This has a couple more positions on the Springfield, so a little more options there. I tend to be a little more accurate when I'm shooting the Glock at the range, and I think that's just because I like the sight picture better, while this has the typical 3-dot alignment, you know, which you see on a lot of guns like the Sig Sawyers and, you know, a lot of other different semi-automatics. But again, either way, you're going to make a good decision and a good investment with either of these two. So I hope if you're on the fence, this video helped you out a little bit. I know there's a lot of videos in regards to, you know, Glocks and Springfields, and people are kind of either one way or the other. But I wanted to try to give you as much of a unbiased review as possible. And really, you know, if you're really on the fence, go to a shooting range and go ahead and rent one, you know, and see which one you like better. Me personally, if I were on the fence, I'd probably spring for the extra money, get the Springfield, because it has more versatility to it. Of course, if money's no object and you're a collector and a hobbyist, by all means, buy both. There's nothing wrong with having an extra firearm, right? So anyway, thanks for tuning in again. And look forward to bringing you more reviews in the future. Thank you. Talk to you later.